If you thought Kat Timpf was just another fiery voice on late night panels, buckle up, because behind every quip and snarky monologue lies a story so unexpected it reads like a Hollywood screenplay. From a childhood marked by economic hardship and relentless bullying to a meteoric rise in conservative media, and ultimately a life-saving twist that occurred only hours before she became a mother, her journey is packed with revelations you won't find anywhere else. And that's only the beginning. Imagine Detroit in the late 1980s, a city hemorrhaging jobs and hope. On October 29, 1988, Kat Timpf was born into a household where every paycheck was a struggle. Her father, Daniel, poured sweat and grease into long shifts at a factory just to keep food on the table, while her mother, Annery, hailed from a sprawling Polish Catholic family of 8 siblings. Love, abundant, money, vanishing faster than the Motor City's population. For young Kat, economic insecurity was not a lesson, it was reality. School should have been a refuge, but in her case, it became a battleground. Diagnosed with ADHD at age 5, Kat spent 3 decades on amphetamines, a fact she only recently laid bare. Between classes, she endured taunts for being too loud, food hurled at her, and teachers who turned blind eyes to the torment. The coping mechanism she chose was as extreme as it was private self-harm became her secret language of pain. Those scars, mental and physical, would shape her unbreakable spirit and her lifelong crusade for free speech. Amid the torment, young Kat found solace in 2 unlikely places: theater and the school newspaper. Lutheran High School North, with its modest student body of 560 and 16:1 teaching ratio, offered a tight, knit setting where a spotlight on stage could drown out the jeers of the hallway. In drama, she channeled her pain into punchlines. In print, she wielded her pen like a sword. This dual escape gave her the confidence to speak truths others feared to voice, even if that meant making audiences squirm. By 2010, she graduated magna cum laude from Hillsdale College with an English degree and a fellowship, worthy passion for political satire. Internships followed: Detroit News, KFIA traffic reporting in a pre-dawn helicopter, where she famously got fired for not following directions, and Campus Reform, where her sharp-tongued exposes on campus speech codes turned heads and ruffled feathers. She wasn't just reporting on censorship, she was living it. Unpaid interning in LA nearly bankrupted her, cost her car and apartment, yet she refused to quit. When Fox News came calling, it wasn't smooth sailing. Labor laws cut her stint short and left her scrambling, demo tape in hand, on the open road of California radio stations. Then came the gig that changed everything. Greg Gutfeld's show on May 31, 2015, her first on-air line, mocking celebrity climate crusaders for their carbon footprints, went viral, earning 50,000 shares in a single day. Within months, Fox hired her full-time. Her segments outperformed peers by 23% in engagement. She was witty, fearless, and impossibly relatable. Still, controversy clung to her like a second skin. From that outrageous Star Wars, space nerd sticks, joke that drew death threats, to a fan's water-dumping incident in Brooklyn, each episode added layers to her public persona and fueled her narrative of saying what no one else dares. By 2017, she co-hosted The Specialists, sparring live on air over Charlottesville, white supremacists, and political correctness. Ratings skyrocketed, then crashed when misconduct claims ousted a colleague, leaving her adrift until her raw, no lashes on reveal on Fox Nation's Sincerely, Kat Timpf became its second most watched original show. She bared her anxiety, eating disorders, and even her father's death, winning hearts at 2.3 million views. Every revelation, every joke, every tear was a masterclass in turning vulnerability into viral gold. But the story isn't complete without her husband. A man Kat once insisted she'd never date, let alone marry. He wasn't another media figure. He was a West Point grad turned Army Ranger. The calm eye in Kat's storm of chaos. When she swiped right in 2019, she expected discord. Instead, she found stability. His tales of firefights in Afghanistan stripped her of cynicism. His refusal to compete with her mic. Time ignited a shift suddenly. Marriage didn't seem impossible. And yet, the biggest twist of all arrived just hours before their first child's birth in February 2025. A routine prenatal check uncovered stage 0 breast cancer, an outcome that felt less like misfortune and more like a miracle. Her baby's arrival triggered early detection that quite literally saved her life. She called it the greatest surprise. And today, as she juggles motherhood, millennial humor, and unapologetic political commentary, Kat Timpf stands as proof that some stories are too unbelievable to invent. He grew up in the quiet suburbs of upstate New York, the eldest of 3 perfect siblings. Cameron attended Choate Rosemary Hall on a rowing scholarship, where rigorous academics and elite sports forged his discipline. At West Point, he majored in engineering, captained the lacrosse team, and graduated in 2009 with honors. His childhood shaped a man as precise off the battlefield as he was brave on it. After commissioning as a second lieutenant, he was assigned to the 101st Airborne Division, where he faced the unforgiving terrain of Afghanistan. From midnight patrols under starlit skies to tense negotiations with local elders, every mission honed his instincts and tempered his resolve. Those combat experiences taught him to calculate risk in real time, a skill that would later translate seamlessly to high-stakes decisions far from the front lines. Leaving the Army in 2012, Cameron pivoted to finance, joining Merrill Lynch as an operations analyst. He absorbed spreadsheets the way he once studied enemy movements, applying military precision to portfolio risk assessments. In Manhattan boardrooms, his measured calm set him apart. Clients found reassurance in his strategic mind and steady demeanor. It was a world away from sandstorms and insurgents, yet he thrived under pressure. She first spotted him at a charity gala in Hollywood, a notable departure from her usual press junkets. He was quietly sipping coffee in the corner, looking out of place. She, in full camera, ready mode, struck up a conversation as a joke, expecting to grill a typical entertainment type. Instead, she encountered someone who listened intently, asked thoughtful questions, and refused to be dazzled by her on-screen persona. What followed was an unlikely romance driven by late-night debates over politics, stand-up anecdotes, and philosophical tangents. Their first date stretched past dawn as they walked city streets, discussing Kant's categorical imperative and the ethics of free speech. Neither expected such intellectual chemistry from a swipe-right encounter. Yet with each passing week, Cameron's unwavering calm softened her cynicism, and her fearless humor ignited sparks where caution once ruled. When the dust settled on their whirlwind engagement in August 2020, Kat refused a traditional white dress affair. Instead, she booked an intimate backyard ceremony officiated by her friend, Lisa Kennedy Montgomery. They walked down the aisle to Adam Sandler's I want to grow old with you, danced barefoot under fairy lights, and vowed to preserve each other's independence. Every unconventional detail reflected her belief that love doesn't require sameness. As a partner, Cameron rarely appears on camera, opting to support from the shadows. He manages her hectic schedule, handles logistics for tours, and proofreads every script she writes. When social media storms hit, he's the calm voice whispering strategy. At home, he cooks gourmet meals after long days in the office, turning their multi-city luxury rentals into a sanctuary of normalcy. His devotion ensures she can always return to her authentic voice. Meanwhile, Kat's podcast, launched in 2016, became a laboratory for her most unfiltered ideas. Listeners tuned in weekly to hear her dissect woke trends, interview dissenting voices, and share raw personal stories, like the time she bombed on stage for 45 minutes straight. Each episode blurred the line between comedy and catharsis. The Kat Timpf Show generated millions of downloads, proving that vulnerability can be as compelling as controversy. In 2019, she took that energy on tour with her aptly named show, I Used to Like You, a biting exploration of critics, cancel culture, and the absurdities of modern dating. 47 cities later, she'd sold out venues from Minneapolis to Miami. Tickets pricing at over $200 became badges of honor for fans eager to join her no-holds-barred celebration of free thought. Merchandise flew off shelves before each curtain rose. Her first book topped Amazon's best-seller list within hours of release, but it was her second volume that made jaws drop. I Used to Like You unveiled secret romances, ideological feuds, and a candid chapter explaining why she refuses to be labeled. Critics on both sides of the aisle erupted in debate. Yet, as the dust settled, the book's sales and social media impressions told one story. Kat's authenticity resonated in an age of curated personas. Beyond entertainment, she's leveraged her platform for mental health advocacy, partnering with nonprofits to destigmatize self-harm and ADHD. Every interview, every tweet, carries a mission to empower those who've felt silenced. Cameron quietly funds many of these initiatives, ensuring resources reach communities grappling with trauma. Together, they've turned personal pain into purpose, proving that a loud voice, when used wisely, can amplify healing and change lives daily. Controversy was never far from Kat's path. In November of 2015, a seemingly innocent quip on a late-night program sparked a firestorm, as she joked about fan wars in a galaxy far, far away, labeling Star Wars enthusiasts as space nerd sticks. Her words spread like wildfire across social media. The backlash was swift and brutal. Death threats, rape threats, and a torrent of hate-filled messages inundated her inbox. Many demanded apologies and bowing to the pressure, but she refused. Instead, she doubled down with a column dissecting the toxicity of digital outrage, challenging critics to engage rather than threaten. This defiant stance only amplified her profile, attracting viewers who admired her refusal to bend under mob mentality. Not long after, an incident at Union Pool in Brooklyn tested her sense of security. On a humid July night in 2017, she arrived to deliver a speech on criminal justice reform. A man slipped through the crowd and within seconds emptied a full bottle of water over her head before vanishing. She stood drenched, shocked into silence while onlookers gasped. Surveillance cameras later revealed the attacker had targeted her specifically. Rather than retreat, she turned the assault into a powerful monologue about the cost of speaking truth to crowds and the vulnerability of public figures. The speech clip went viral, racking up millions of views and donations to improve security for performers and speakers like her. Despite these challenges, Kat's career trajectory soared. She returned to late-night and daytime panels with renewed vigor, tackling tough topics from censorship to global warming hypocrisy. Every segment combined her trademark humor with data-driven insights. She'd cite a study one moment and land a punchline the next. Producers took note her face on promos guaranteed spikes in viewership. Ratings soared by double digits whenever she led a discussion. Advertisers paid premiums to appear around her segments. Her profile rose, landing her in Forbes' 30 Under 30, and earning invitations to speak at universities and industry conferences. Her first book exploded onto bestseller lists in 2023. Titled, Speak Your Mind, it wove personal anecdotes with cultural criticism, dissecting polarization, cancel culture, and the art of disruption. Reviewers praised its frank discussions of self-harm, ADHD, and the ridicule she endured growing up. Critics across the political spectrum weighed in. Some called it incendiary. Others hailed it as a manifesto for modern free speech. The debate further fueled sales, driving her book to #1 on Amazon within hours of launch. She embarked on a nationwide tour, filling auditoriums and stage, stealing the spotlight with her blend of humor, heartbreak, and hard-won wisdom. Meanwhile, her advocacy work matured. She founded the Timpf Truth Foundation to provide grants to mental health nonprofits, targeting services for teens facing bullying and self-harm. The organization partnered with schools for workshops on resilience and free expression. Kat frequently appeared at these events, sharing her recovery journey and encouraging students to find their voices. Cameron provided quiet support behind the scenes, coordinating logistics and mentoring young leaders. Together, they transformed personal adversity into tangible impact, earning recognition from national mental health associations. On September 24, 2024, she appeared on one of the year's most controversial podcasts. The Joe Rogan Experience remains a megaphone for unfiltered conversation, and her candid discussion lasted nearly 3 hours. She spoke about monogamy, dating outside ideological bubbles, and the irony of catching cancer because of a prenatal ultrasound. Highlights included her unorthodox views on motherhood, a searing critique of performative activism, and a raw description of how she found humor, even in the operating room. The episode garnered over 10 million views, cementing her status as a major cultural commentator. Perhaps the most profound chapter unfolded in early 2025. A routine checkup revealed stage 0 breast cancer just hours before her son's birth. The irony was staggering. A test intended to confirm a healthy pregnancy saved her life. She underwent a double mastectomy within weeks and shared the experience with astonishing candor. A simple photo posted on social media, her hospital bed, feet propped with a sign reading, "Censored," went viral. Fans flooded her comments with love, and her openness inspired thousands to seek screenings. Even in recovery, her humor sharpened, each joke carving away the stigma of illness. Today, Kat balances motherhood, media, and advocacy like few can. She co-hosts a top-rated panel, mentors journalists, and writes a weekly opinion piece. Cameron stands by her side, his calm a reminder that opposites can thrive. Their journey, marked by hardship, resilience, and a cinematic miracle, proves the most surprising truths often lie beneath the surface. If you thought you knew Kat Timpf, think again. She constantly challenges herself and inspires others every day. Even at the height of her fame, Kat never let success dull her edge. Less than a year after surviving breast cancer and celebrating motherhood for the first time, she shocked fans again, this time by announcing a partnership with a cutting-edge mental health startup. The venture, co-founded by Kat and two Harvard psychologists, uses AI-driven chatbots to deliver cognitive behavioral therapy to teens in underserved communities. While critics questioned if technology could replace human empathy, Kat fired back on social media, arguing that any barrier to help should be torn down. She tweeted, "If an app saves one kid from losing hope, it's worth every bite." The announcement generated 1.2 million engagements in 48 hours, underscoring both her reach and her willingness to challenge orthodoxies. Meanwhile, her private life continued unfolding like a parallel narrative. In late 2025, Cameron surprised her with a renovation of their Hamptons beach house. A serene escape featuring a hidden recording studio where Kat records her nightly live streams. Fans only saw colorful backdrops and witty monologues, but they didn't know he'd installed soundproof walls and soft lighting tailored to her ADHD brain. When she discovered the transformation, she burst into tears, calling it the world's quietest hug. That story circulated on entertainment sites, painting Cameron as the unsung hero of Kat's empire. Back on stage, Kat evolved her comedy to embrace motherhood and marriage without sacrificing her trademark sarcasm. Her 2026 tour, cheekily named Chaos and Diapers, sold out in record time. Munched pacifiers and punchlines merged as she riffed on toddler tantrums, late-night breast milk fiascos, and negotiating nap schedules with an Army vet husband who still thrives on routine. Reviews praised her ability to find the universal humor in sleepless nights and sticky fingers. A stark contrast to her earlier material, which fixated on political absurdities. She's effortlessly bridging two worlds, one critic noted. At the same time, her political commentary reached new platforms. Kat launched a weekly YouTube series titled Policy and Punchlines, where she deconstructs complex legislation in under 8 minutes. In her first episode, she dissected the 2026 Education Reform Act. She combined on-screen charts with off-the-cuff jokes about school lunch menus gone vegan, turning dry data into viral moments. Within days, the clip racked up 5 million views. More importantly, it sparked conversations in online study groups and even got a nod from a congressional aide. Suddenly, her influence stretched beyond comedy clubs and cable news into the corridors of power. Yet Kat's greatest surprise may have been the quiet transformation of her own values. The woman who once boasted about dating chaos and refused labels began speaking openly about the need for community and compromise. In a 2026 interview with a leading women's magazine, she reflected on the paradox of free speech. If your words can cut, they can also heal. I'm learning that healing is its own form of truth-telling. She announced plans to write a memoir focusing solely on her teenage years, a stark pivot from her earlier, razor-sharp political essays. The announcement ignited speculation. Was she softening her brand or expanding it? Her fans didn't have to wait long for chapters of raw introspection. Excerpts from that memoir appeared online, a passage in which she described a night in her college dorm when, terrified by panic attacks, she called her mother's ghostly voice on the phone until sunrise. Another chapter recounted her desperation, when she lost not just her apartment, but her sense of self after being fired from that LA helicopter traffic job. Anatomy of Failure, she wrote, is the blueprint for resilience. Critics hailed the prose as unexpectedly lyrical, proof that beneath the sharp wit lies a reflective storyteller. Professional accolades piled up alongside personal breakthroughs. In 2027, Kat was invited to deliver the commencement address at Hillsdale College. She chose to focus on silence rather than speech, a thematic reversal that left many speechless. Standing at the podium, she recounted how her teenage vow of silence after a brutal bullying episode taught her to listen before speaking. She concluded by urging graduates, find your voice, yes, but give equal honor to the pauses in between. A viral clip of her speech circulated widely among educators, and Hillsdale reported record donations in the weeks that followed. Cameron, meanwhile, quietly ascended in his own field. After leaving corporate finance, he founded a nonprofit microloan fund for veterans transitioning to civilian careers. His experience in risk assessment became the backbone of the program, which now supports hundreds of former soldiers each year. The couple often hosted fundraising dinners at their Manhattan loft, seamlessly blending Kat's media clout with Cameron's operational expertise. Attendees marveled at their partnership. One moment, she'd be cracking jokes about inflation. The next, he'd be explaining loan interest rates with military precision. Through it all, Kat maintained a daily routine that would exhaust most people. She begins at 5 a.m. with a 30-minute meditation app she helped develop for her startup. By breakfast, she's drafted her morning tweets and approved the latest episode of Policy and Punchlines. Midday is reserved for family. Story time with her son, emails from fans, and urgent strategy calls. Afternoon hours see her recording podcasts, jotting memoir notes, and reviewing scripts for her next late-night panel appearance. Evenings blend dinner with Cameron, gym sessions, and a final live stream, an hour of unfiltered Q&A where she answers everything from foreign policy to organic baby food. It's a schedule she likens to running a small country. What's next for a woman who's defied expectations at every turn? Rumors swirl of a feature-length documentary series, tentatively titled Uncensored, which would chronicle her life day by day, from sleepless parenting to headline-making controversies. The project would be a first for Kat, who typically controls her narrative in 8 15-minute bursts. Early insiders say the series promises never-before-seen footage, hospital hallways during her cancer treatment, secret writing sessions at 3 a.m., and home videos of her and Cameron dancing barefoot in their kitchen. For fans and skeptics alike, it could be the most revealing look yet at a figure who has made a career out of surprising everyone. But what lies ahead might be her boldest move. News reports confirm she's greenlit a feature-length docuseries called Uncensored, set to launch on a major streaming service next spring. This series promises to track Kat and Cameron through both public triumphs and private challenges, include raw footage from her cancer treatment and the earliest days of motherhood. Industry insiders say this unprecedented access will rewrite celebrity storytelling, stripping away final edits and revealing hard truths behind every triumphant headline. In tandem with the docuseries, Kat is reportedly launching Truth Table, a subscription-based platform offering live Q&A sessions, behind-the-scenes clips, early access to her commentary, and moderated community debates. Subscribers will gain entry to virtual roundtables with thought leaders, monthly book club discussions, and exclusive snippets of her upcoming memoir.